So out of 33 times, I played in the U.S. Open once, which is 3%. So the question now becomes, I played the Open 3 times. 97% of the time, I didn't play in the Open. Was that endeavor a failure or success? Did I fail 97% of the time? Could I be successful 3% of the time? Those numbers don't seem right.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? This is Switch Up Sports. We have another coach interview today. I'm talking to Coach Bruce. I'm not wasting any time. We're bringing him right on to the pod. Let's get it started right now. Coach, how you doing this morning?
Good morning, Quinn. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic, Coach. Thank you for asking. So essentially, I'm going to throw you a super loaded question to start it off. It ends up being super wide open, so you can kind of go whichever way you want with it. But essentially, tell us kind of a little bit about yourself, how you got started into golf, whether, the beginning of how you even first started playing, and then how that led to where you're at now as a coach and how you got to kind of where you're at. So again, super loaded question, but it's nice and open. So wherever you want to go with it, go for it.
Okay, golf all my life. Golf's been a big piece of my life since age 8, actually. And when I got started with golf, they built a small municipal golf course where I lived in up in Boston, just outside of Boston. I rode my bike to the golf course. I wanted to caddy. Parked my bike the first day. I'm wearing my PF Flyers, my white socks up to my knees with the blue and red stripes around them, and my really nice white T-shirt. I was really proud of that T-shirt. But I sat on the caddy bench all day. I didn't get out. Got there at 8 in the morning. Left at 5. But I loved what I saw. My family had been living in the city of Boston, and we had just moved to the country. So, man, just to see the golf course, all the green grass, the
Right.
clippings the guy Fred Gray cutting the grass. It looked awesome. So I went back the next day. I didn't get out that day. Third day I went back 8 to 5. Sat on the bench 3 days. My mom says to me, "How much money are you making?" I said, "Well, I haven't made anything yet. I haven't been out." She said, "Well, that's not very good. That's not for you. That's You're stupid." She said, "You need to go find something where you're where you have a lot of passion, and where you want to make some money." Anyway, I went back. I did that for 42 straight days. Sat on the bench 42 straight days, 8 to 5. Never got out. Day 43, I got out. Made 75 cents, and I was off and running in my golf career involvement with golf. You might say, played golf
Wow.
all my life, competitive golf, amateur golf. I went to Babson College, played golf at Babson, captained the last couple of years of the golf team in their Hall of Fame a few years later, and played a lot of amateur golf throughout my life. Played U.S. Open actually one year. Played the 1980 U.S. Open at Baltusrol, which was a lot of fun. Played
Wow.
a tour event a few years after that, but always kind of twixt between in my career about we always want to play pro golf, but reality hits us sometime too. So always had a job in business, played amateur golf, and got involved in coaching about 26, 27 years ago. Coached for 5 years up at MIT and been at Boston University the last 17 years. It's a great passion of mine to be able to coach and help people. I thought when I get into coaching, the reason why I was into coaching was, well, that'll be cool. I'll help people become better golfers. Well, I quickly learned and soon learned that that's only a small piece of it. Coaching, you're involved with you're helping people navigate life, young people navigate the trail of life through golf. So it's been a lot of fun. I enjoy coaching an awful lot. We've had a lot of success over the years. Every year we've had some great teams, wonderful team performances, and it's something that I like to do, have liked to do in my life, and continue. I'll do it for quite a while. I've got time, I've got the interest, and it's a lot of fun for me to be able to coach.
So you said you made it 43 days was when the first time that you finally got a chance to go out and do a loop. So what did your mom say to you if if she was mad at you for going out there for 2 days in a row and not making money? How did you convince her over the next 42 days to let her hey, I'm going out here, I'm not making any money. How'd you let her do that?
Well, I hear it about it every night when I get home. She wanted how much money. Well, not today, not today. Tomorrow's my day. Tomorrow's my day. I said though. I never was discouraged. I literally got on my Schwinn bike, my gray Schwinn bike, and I was cool because I had the red handles, so that was cool. I rode my Schwinn bike 42 straight days. 43 day I got out. I sat on the bench against the clubhouse, against the pro shop, actually under the roof, because sometimes it would rain a little bit, so I'd cover myself. But I tell them, I just like what I see. I just like what I see. I like the game of golf. I played all the sports as a young man. I played hockey, played a lot of basketball, played a lot of baseball. I played a lot of sports. What attracted me to golf was I didn't need to depend upon any teammates. I didn't need to wait for anybody else to get better. I didn't need a coach to tell me you're in the game, you're out of the game. In high school, I desperately wanted to play. For 4 years of high school, I wanted to play in the varsity basketball team. I was the last cut every year for 4 years.
Mm.
And I said, I don't want to do that. I don't want to have someone else tell me whether I can play or not play. Um, I want to, if I'm going to work hard at something and put a lot of time in, I don't want to depend upon anyone else, teammates or coaches. So consequently, golf's a game that you can just literally get a shag bag, find a place to hit balls, and be able to improve yourself. I worked as a teenager at the course, the municipal course I'm referring to, Glen Ellen. I worked there all my teenage years, and I was lucky that the pro there for the many years was a fine player in his own right. Kind of took me under his wing. He became my third grandfather, actually, through most of my all my teenage years. And I learned how to play golf through with him. And golf's been a fantastic piece of my life. Playing as a competitor, coaching. My wife I met through golf. My son, very very good golfer. My daughter played a little bit of golf, but golf's been a big piece of what I do. I live in Pinehurst, North Carolina now. I've been down here 15 years. I'm still coaching at Boston University, so I coach at Boston University, live in Pinehurst, and I think I've got the best of both worlds going.
That sounds amazing. So is this addicting part of golf, the thing that kind of continues to keep it in, like you said, you liked what you saw. There's this element of you're out on your own. It's you against the golf course versus basketball. You've got four other guys on the court. I grew up, basically wrestling was the kind of the same thing. Was it's like, hey, it's like it's just me. It's me against one other person. And I guess that was kind of a big thing for me with golf too. Is it's just like I get to be in my own world. I get to go and work on whatever I need to work on. But like you said, with that other element, like I don't even need a partner to be there to get better. It's just, hey, I'm going to go to the course today. I'm going to go practice. Hey, I don't need anyone else. Hey, I'm going to go be in my own world. Hey, I'm going to go play. It's just me. And it's that test of, hey, am I getting better or am I not? What things can I do to improve? But is there something that stuck as a kid that you use in your coaching now? Or is there other elements from other sports that you like to use as well? Or what do you think are some big pieces that help you as a coach today?
As I mentioned, I played all the sports as a kid. I love all the sports now. I still follow all the sports: college, pro, football, basketball, baseball, and certainly golf. But yes, certainly for sure, lessons that I've learned or experiences that I've had in life, I clearly bring those into my coaching. Golf's a hard game. It's a really hard game. In baseball, for instance, if you fail at the plate 70% of the time in baseball, you're a Hall of Famer.
Right.
You're a 300 hitter, and you're in the Hall of Fame, failing 70% of the time. I like to reference to the mention to the girls. I don't talk about myself a bit, but sometimes maybe my experiences come into it. But I mentioned to the girls, I always wanted to play in the U.S. Open. That was always a big deal to me. As a kid, since age 11. I tried to qualify for the U.S. Open 33 times. And in those days, you played 36 holes in a local qualifying and then 36 holes in a sectional. That's been a little bit revised now. But I've tried to qualify 33 times in the local. I made it 3 times to the sectional. And I qualified once for the U.S. Open. So out of 33 times, I played in the U.S. Open once, which is 3%. So the question now becomes I played the Open 3 times. 97% of the time, I didn't play in the Open. Was that endeavor a failure or a success? Did I fail 97% of the time? Could I be successful 3% of the time? Those numbers don't seem right. Well, of course they are right. Anything greater than zero would be an enormous success in that area. And I try to bring that. That story of you've got to stay with it. Many times in my life, going back to sitting on the bench for 42 straight days, we all have ups and downs in life. And many times I've said to myself, tomorrow's my day. Tomorrow's my day. I can get out of this. I'll improve. I'll be better. Whatever it is, whether it's in golf, in your personal life, business, sport, whatever it is. Tomorrow's another day. Tomorrow's my day. I've used that to my advantage much of my life. Sometimes I might get players to say, "Gee, I'm working hard and I'm not getting anywhere." And with golf, golf can be so hard. Sometimes the more you practice, sometimes you can actually go backwards, and needing some. Needing to refocus or to recharge what you're doing. But I like to mention to the girls, hey, at my age, I computed a few years ago, kind of a crazy number. I've hit over 2 million golf balls in my life. I think I'm pretty accurate going over the years, the number of effort, time, practice, tournaments, all of that. I think I've hit 2 million golf balls in my life. So I like to mention to the players in the team. Now that means either one of two things: someone hitting 2 million golf balls. It means that I could be very devoted, a lot of passion, a lot of hard work, a lot of desire, and want to get to a goal and put the effort into 2 million golf balls. Or it could mean that I'm incredibly stupid, who devotes 2 million golf balls part of their life. But my point is, you've got to keep the point to the players as a coach. You just don't know when your day is going to happen. You just don't know, and you've got to stay with the task with what you want to do. Golf's an incredibly hard sport. You have no teammates to help you. You as the player, you're the player. You're your own coach. You're the cheerleader, and you are the critic, and you are all of those rolled into one. It's so common to see players coming off the course, and I'll say, "Oh, how'd you do?" And I'll hear all of the bad things, the missed putts, the ball out of bounds, the negative. And I might say, "Well, what was the shot of the day? What did you do well at?" It's amazing. Players, a lot of times, they will stop and pause and have to really think about that. Thinking about the negative is so prevalent, it's so easy to do. It's a fallback, and it can be very challenging. That's the trick, is to not be able to do that, not to have yourself fall into that kind of a situation when you're playing competitive golf.
Yeah, the minute and it's funny because the minute you said that, it was just like, hey, yeah, I shot 71 and I can tell you the three putts that hey, this one lipped out, hey, this one hit a rock, this one, was on track and then stopped short. Like I can tell you those on, the first things that come off the top of the mind, but you don't think about those great shots that you hit all throughout the day. Hey, what about that 8 iron that you hit out of the middle of the fairway that gave you the opportunity to even have that putt? Hey, what about the drive that even set you up in that position to get there? And I had a coach tell me the same thing because I did this I did that, which is why it came right back to my mind. I remember saying that. Hey, there was these three putts that I missed, and he's just like, yeah, but do you remember that drive that you hit on 12? It's like no one had hit a ball there all day long, and where did you end up? He's like, that was. I was like, oh, I guess I did. Okay, and then right there, like that stopped that negative train of thought, and then it put me in this different state of mind. Whereas up until that point, I was like in this critic. It's just, hey, why did this happen? Hey, why are you doing this? Hey, does this really feel right? Hey, what's going on here? Versus the 20 seconds after he said, "Well, yeah, what about this shot? Why haven't you thought about that at all?" And then that almost took like this fog and clearness in my head and just like cleared it and then said, "Oh yeah, I guess that was pretty good. Oh wow. Well, walking up to the tee box, I was thinking about this and that, and then it just led into this positive momentum that kept rolling and then from that point forward the rest of the round, I played great because I was able to get out of my own way. So is there something that you're doing outside of that, like when you guys are practicing, like are there certain things that you're keeping in the back of mind, knowing, hey, all of these players in some regard are huge critics of themselves because they've gotten to this level, they've had to put in an X amount of work to get where they're at, and like you said, when you're out there playing, you have to do all of these things, you have to wear all of these hats. So, what are you trying to tell them, or what are you trying to instruct in a practice versus we know in a round, it's more about just like, hey, we got to get the ball in the hole. Whatever's the easiest way to do that, get you doing that. Let's get that done. But how do you wrap that in with like a practice session versus like a competitive round?
I'm always trying to learn the player. Always trying to learn from day one in the recruiting process. I'm always trying to learn the player. Players sometimes think that they're being recruited because of their golf scores. Well, golf scores. Yes, that's the reason why we're talking initially in the recruiting process is because of your golf scores. That's what the attraction is. Why we're talking. That's probably 25% of it. Next 25% is what are your grades. In fact, I want to know before we talk about golf, what kind of student are you? What are your grades? Um, at Boston University, our team GPA is typically in the 3.6, 3.7, 3.8 range. So we've got girls taking hard majors, missing time because of tournaments, practice in season, which is quite a lot of time, and yet they're still able to maintain top grades. Well, to me, if you are a top student and do well, especially in math and science, you've made those sacrifices, you've made those arrangements to make time in your life to be able to devote to those subjects. That's probably if you do that in academics, that's probably the way you play golf, and that's kind of the player that I'm looking for. So it's 25% golf ability, 25% academics, but 50% who are you? Who are you? And can you make your own decisions in life? That's huge. If you can't make your own decisions in life, if you're not managing your time well in your own life, your academic, your personal life, you're probably not going to be able to play. You're probably going to struggle on the golf course because when it's going bad, what do I do? Well, what do you do? And a lot of times I'll ask that question on the course. Recruits will ask me my coaching style or how do you coach a player's swings? Not much with swings. You're a good player. You're shooting 72 to 75 when you're coming to us. You're an accomplished player, so you can play. Sometimes maybe alignment or ball position can get out of track because we travel so much and different courses, different looks. That can easily get up, but that's something that can easily take care of. We spend clearly most of my time with the players is always one on one. And I want to know what their strategies are, how they feel about themselves, how they're preparing for a tournament. So much goes into preparing for a tournament well before you get to the golf course. And I'm always trying to learn the players. That process never stops for 4 years. Learn the players, and so much as we had talked about a few minutes ago, self-critical. One shot, one hole, one bad shot, one bad hole can take them off the track. So I'm always encouraging the players, certainly not critical at all, always encouraging the players on the course and in tournaments. But I'm always looking for new, different ways that they haven't been exposed to, and that way I can capture their attention a little bit. One challenge for a coach in golf is so many kids when they come to you, they're what I call TrackMan players. They've been they've been trained to swing a club at TrackMan numbers or flight scope numbers, angles, speeds, without any regard to play the game, how to hit the shot. So I might ask a freshman the first couple of sessions, let's just hit a couple of 7 irons here, choke it down half inch and a little 3/4 swing, keep the ball down low. They'll look at me and go, what are you doing? What is that? Well, that's what you're going to need to be playing. Tournament golf. A couple of things that I've done. I do it quite frequently, which actually is quite successful. Many times when a player gets kind of bunched up in the wrong way, thinking too much about mechanics, I won't say anything to them on the tee of a tournament, and I'll say, "Oh, today let's have a little fun. Let me have your rangefinder, let me have your pin sheet, let me have your Stracker line book." So they've got no rangefinder, no pin sheet, and no yardage book. What am I going to do? We'll go play golf. Most of the time, when you do that with a player that's struggling, immediately they start playing very, very well, and they do well. And when they come in to play, now it becomes even more uncomfortable because they're not used to that and they've had success with that. And so there's that little bit of well, not a little bit, but quite a bit of a break in habit that you need to do with them. A quick story: a couple of years ago, number one player came in as a freshman, highly touted player, really good player. We're playing down at Yale. She shoots 70, 73, 71, 144 after 2 rounds, 1 round to go. 144, two over par, 2 shots behind the leader. She says, I've three putted 7 greens in 2 days, 2 shots behind. I like to try to win the tournament. Can you help me? I said, yeah, of course I can help you, but I'm not going to talk to you. I'm not wasting my time or your time if you're not going to listen. So if you want me to talk to you, you got to take the advice I give you. I'm trying to give a little bit. I'm trying to start from them with break the habit of what she was doing. 144, very good score. 2 shots behind the leader. Thirst to win. Thirst to do great. 3 putts, 7 greens, not so good. Anyway, I looked at it, I said, okay, here's what we're gonna do tomorrow when you play. Keep your same game. However, when you're putting, on your first putts tomorrow, make sure you intentionally miss your first putt intentionally. So if you hit that ball, your second shot, and you're 30 feet, miss that putt intentionally. And if you hit it 3 or 4 feet from the hole, don't make the putt. Miss the putt, and I walk away. I'll tell you, she was so upset with that advice. I heard her say to a teammate, "Did you hear what he said to me? Did you hear Bruce telling? He's telling. I'm asking for advice. I'm 3 putting. He's telling me to miss putts, and I'm already 3 putting." I intentionally didn't say anything to her the rest of the day. We had dinner and go back to the hotel. And the next morning, 6 o'clock breakfast, I saw her. She looked a little tired. I said, "How you doing?" She said, "Terrible. I didn't sleep all night. I'm asking you to help me. You said you're going to help me. You tell me to miss putts." I said, "That's exactly right. Let's do it one more time. You hit it 3 feet. Do not make the putt. Miss it." I walk away. I don't talk to her the rest of the day. I drove by a few times in the course with snacks and drinks. Just kind of flipped to the water bottles and flipped to the snacks. Didn't say a darn word to her. She gets off the 18th green. I says, "Hey, yo, talk to me." She goes, "I just hit 17 greens. Not bad. What else?" "I had no 3 putts today." "Not bad. What else?" She goes, "I had 4 1 putts. I made 4 birdies. I shot 67, 1 under, 4 under par, 67." And she wins the tournament by a shot. Okay. We're in the van going home, back to campus. And I said, "How'd that go yesterday?" She didn't seem to be excited with me and my advice. She said, "It was very uncomfortable. It was very uncomfortable the first 7 holes. I was so uncomfortable, but something strange started after the seventh hole." I said, "What happened?" She said, "The ball started going in the hole." Okay, that's pretty good. Makes 4 birdies, 4 1 putts. What she was doing, which I didn't tell her, I didn't want to, and of course I'm gambling a little bit too with my approach. But what she was doing, she was trying to make every putt, every first putt, run it by 6, 7 feet, miss it coming back. Played 2 days like that, put a lot of pressure on herself. Not only was she running the first putts by, but such a distance that too much pressure to make the second putts. She wasn't managing her ball. So if I said to her, "Manage your first putts, hit it up just a 6 inches, 8 inches, a foot from the hole," that would not resonate. She would not listen to that. So if I said, "Manage your ball," you're not managing your ball in the first putts and too much pressure on the second. That's not going to work. I know that's not going to work. So I never approached that. So I tried something a little bit radical in encouraging her to miss the putts, especially the first putts, especially if you're 2 or 3 or 4 feet from the hole. She did it, and she wins the tournament by a shot.
That's
I love that
insane.
story. But
That's awesome.
that's a example of a highly skilled player, and you've got to be able to. And as a coach, I'm under pressure. This is not practice. We're in the middle of a tournament. We're playing a very good field against a lot of good field teams, Ivy League teams. There, the number one team from Scotland was there. We're playing against a very good field. I've got a highly skilled player. She's in her zone. She knows how to play, and it's difficult to have her make any changes that she's never practiced, never heard of, or not used to during a tournament. So on my end as the coach, I gambled. Sure, I gambled with the approach, but I think I know the player, and I gambled with a radical approach under the auspices that she's got no place to go and she's got to listen to me. That's why I mentioned at the very beginning, I'm not wasting my time with advice and your time, because if I tell you, give you my opinion or coaching, you've got to listen and carry out what I want. So many times when I'm coaching a player and they're struggling, I don't really help them right away because they're not listening. They're focusing on their struggles at that moment. I continue to wait. I wait until the player um, falls down flat in the face. They got no place to go. Then they'll listen to you. But to get a player that wants help in the moment because they're not playing well that whole that particular night or that particular day, they're probably not listening to you. So it's very important as a coach with the message that you're giving to make sure that your audience, the player, is listening to you at the appropriate time, and that sometimes it requires a little more time of pain and suffering. But the message can get through, and hopefully you have some success doing it. One of my favorite stories: miss your putts.
That is awesome. And I think I like a lot of the ways that you phrase a lot of things and even what you had did with her. Because I had a coach, this is a shout out to Skip Steffi. He basically did the same thing to me. I'm in the middle of a tournament. This was like our second or third day of the event. We're in Germantown, and I can't hit the ball left to save my life. I'm missing the ball right, and it's right going right. It's starting down the middle and going right. It's just everything's going right. And he basically said to me, he's like, I don't care if you hit duck hooks the rest of the day, do not hit the ball right. From that point forward, I played fantastic. Don't know, don't know what it was about. Hey, yeah, hit a duck hook instead of that miss right. And lo and behold, played great the rest of the day, figured it out. So,
Well,
like you
you've reached
said,
the end of the line. There's no place to go. You've
yeah,
only got one option, and so you trust and you believe in that option. I had a player last year. Saw her the first day. I'm hitting everything. I'm hitting everything. I'm hitting it, the tee shot. I can't hit a fairway. I'm missing the fairway. I cannot hit the fairway. I try to give her a couple of during the turn, by the way, a little bit of pressure. Well, let's aim for the house, aim for the rock, aim for the mound, whatever. She wasn't listening to me. So I waited a few more holes. I went up to her on the tee. I said, let's do this. I said, see the houses in the right, turn around and let's hit this tee shot at the houses, out of bounds. Well, I'm playing a tournament. No, let's hit out of bounds. You're not going to hit the fairway anyway. You're not going to hit the fairway the rest of the day. You've told me you're not going to. You believe you're not going to. Might as well hit it outside. Might as well hit out of bounds. We'll take a few strokes and maybe that'll help change us a little bit. We actually going back and forth for about 30 seconds. She never missed a fairway the rest of the round. She didn't like the option that I'm telling her to intentionally hit it out of bounds at the house. I learned that trick from Jim Dent, who just passed away. But when he played on tour, he was the longest driver and straightest driver for a period of 10 years. But I learned that lesson from him years ago. It's a great tip. Aim at the houses. He did that once. He did that in Memphis. Mentioned he was a poor driver playing in Memphis and actually hit it out of bounds intentionally and said, Jim, that's what you're going to be doing the rest of your life on tour unless you hit in the fairway. And so he was able to motivate and refocus his plan of attack, you might say. So I've used that quite a bit in my coaching, and it's worked out well.
and I think that thing that you had said of she didn't like the option, because I think so many times as players, you're sitting there and the only option that you're thinking about is like this little swing fix and this little thing that you just want to hear someone else tell you the same exact thing that you're already saying in your mind. You want someone to reaffirm, which then brings into the, yeah, you're not listening. You're not listening to what I'm telling you. You want me to tell you what you want to hear, not what you need to hear. And
Yep.
so many times, like as a player, that part of that coach part that is in your head somewhere over there, because every once in a while that good thought gets thrown out in your head and you're like, nope, not gonna work, don't care, I don't need to hear it. So when you have your actual coach come and tell it to you, nope, I don't care, I don't want to hear it, I don't want to deal with it. And again, you said that also you're under this pressure. Like it's also up to you as a coach, because you're in this tournament, you are a part of the team, you are doing this. So there's an
No
element
question.
of, well, like, I still have to make sure I say it correctly. I still have to make sure this ends up right. I need this player to knock it out and be back on the track. So
What's
at
so
this point, you've got, yeah, go ahead, go for it, go for it.
no no what's so important is coaching. In coaching is which I've learned over the years is choice of words very important. Inflection of voice very important. Looking the player directly in the eye, making eye contact, making sure the player is actually listening to you. And so you need the player listening to you. Your message has got to be careful choice of words, short, brief. This is not you're not doing a biblical presentation during a tournament with a player in the fairway. Only a few words, and you've got to hit the right spots. And sometimes the less words, and sometimes it can be just a body motion, just eye contact, a facial body motion that sometimes can help a player. But you've got to pick your spots. It's got to be really short, really brief, and it's got to be at the time when the player is really at the bottom. They've got no place to go, and they're listening to you. And sometimes it might not be that day. You might have to wait another day or another tournament. But you don't. You only got one shot at this. You only got one shot at the presentation, because what you're trying to do, again, as I mentioned, you're trying to have a player change their behavior, their mental behavior, their approach behavior, which they've been working on all of their lives with probably very little deviation, and you're asking them to do something which they've never heard. They haven't had time to think about it. They haven't had time to practice it. And this is a whole new environment, a whole new environment for them. Many times I'm in a turn. Player might say, "I'm struggling. Can you help me?" I'll say, "Sure." And we'll go down the fairway, and I'll say, "Where's the target?" They'll pick the target. They'll lift the shot. We'll do that for might be in 3 or 4 holes into it. They'll say, "Well, can you give me a tip?" Of course, they forgot that they just hit 4 greens in a row, made 4 pars or 3 pars and a birdie, and they've hit they've teed the ball. They've hit a driver in every fairway. They've hit every green. They maybe make the putt and hit easy 2 putts to make pars. Well, actually, just keep doing that. That's very uncomfortable for players. They want more. They want something more or different. Again, it goes back to the player not realizing the the great skill they've had and the great ability to be able to play golf under competitive conditions. Hard game to be consistent at the level that you're at in competition all the time. Really hard game. I suppose that's the attraction to us all. Why you play golf, why I play golf, why I coach golf, or why we like the challenge of the sport.
Yeah, and then that element of everyone is both trying to make it as complex as possible, but it's a simple game. There's there's nothing else
So
other than you have this little ball, you put it in that hole. That's it. The game is truly as simple as now, yes, there's other rules that make it semi more complex, but at the end of the day, there is one rule. The ball goes in the hole. How many times did you hit it to make that happen? That's it.
a
It's
playable.
very simple, and all of us make it very not simple.
Sometimes I get a player in a very serious. Can I talk to you in private alone? Sure, we maybe go off to the side of the fairway, whatever we're practicing, whatever. I'm really struggling. I'm not playing well. Why am I playing well? Why am I shooting high scores? I said, I'll tell you, there's only one reason why you shoot high scores. It's the same all the time for everybody. All right. The reason why you're shooting high scores is because you are taking too many strokes. Well, they look at me. What is that? No, your score is high because you're taking too many strokes. The um, the scorers in the tent aren't asking you what clubs you're hitting. They're not asking you how many birdies you're making, how many double bogeys, how many bogeys. They don't ask you if fairways hit. All those stats you keep, all those stats, all that time you're putting on TrackMan, all that. They're not asking you. They just ask you one question. It's so cold in golf. They ask you one question: would you shoot? That's all I want to know. Would you shoot? So if your score is high, it's because you are taking too many strokes. Now we might want to break that down. Where are you taking too many strokes? And hopefully that leads to a to a methodology of simplifying and learning about their game. New to golf, new to college golf, the last 3 years, I believe it is the circle. Circles is great. Most of colleges are using a lot of pros on tour are using circles too. It's a way of kind of identifying your shots during the round. A player might come in and say, "Oh my God, my putting's terrible. I 3 putted 4 greens today. My putting's awful." Well, wait a minute. When you look at the round, you might realize with the player that would you hit on second shots on those holes that you 3 putted, and the player might be hitting a wedges, 9 irons, lob wedges. Well, wait a minute. If you're hitting a 9 iron or wedge 40 feet, might not be the 40-foot putt. Might be the wedge that's 40 feet from the hole, which is quite unacceptable. So that might be the focus of your game. And again, we go back to a player critiquing 3 putt 4 times bad. That means bad. Without stepping back, hang on. Why are you 3 putting? It could be the club. It could be the clubs that you're hitting. You're not hitting close enough to the hole. You may need practice with your wedge, your 100-yard shot, your 80-yard shot, as opposed to that 40-foot putt, you might say. So again, it's the player breaking habit, trying to be realistic, trying to be complementary to the game, trying to be helpful to the game, and not critiquing their game all of the time.
Yeah, and if you want to make golf even colder, like you mentioned, it's what'd you shoot and no butts. It's always the well, I shot 76, but no butts. What'd you shoot? I want the number
Yeah,
and nothing else behind it. I don't need the excuses or the pictures you want to draw on the scorecard.
we tend to take the players especially young players tend to take scores and they translate scores into their personal character. Okay, so they shoot 72, they feel good. They're a good person. Everything is great. They shoot 82, they actually think they're a bad person. They stink at golf. They stink at everything. It's amazing how, and of course, as a coach, you've got to try to help them differentiate that the score is not who you are. Score is what you shot in a game. You're playing an amateur game at this level, coaching at NCAA Division One. You're playing an amateur game. It's not who you are. You've had a lot of nice accomplishments in life, but again, players can jump on it so quickly and be very critical of themselves, misinterpreting what a score means.
And I think the fun aspect of golf that goes directly with that is, even if you go and you play the exact same course, if you teed it up today at 8 a.m. and you go and you play tomorrow at 8 a.m., even if you hit the exact same shots and you have 6 inches over from where you hit the previous day, it doesn't matter. That's a completely new golf course that next day. Every one of those shots that you hit, even if you place the ball in almost the exact same spot, doesn't matter. It's a completely different course. It's a different shot. The air is different. The grass is different. The ball is different. Your clubs are different. You're different. But yet, a lot of other sports, well, you've got the same 100-yard field, 120 yards with the end zones. You have the same basketball court with the same lines. Baseball, yes, you change the field dimensions, but your bases and where the pitcher's throwing from doesn't change. And there's so many other elements in other sports that just is purely the same. A free throw is the same no matter what. You can do it with your eyes closed, as we learned Michael Jordan did in a game. That's the difference with golf. There's no same shot ever. It will never happen. There's no same mechanics you can put on. You can come close to it. You can have that same thought in mind, but golf forces you to be in the moment, exactly in that moment, and nothing else. If you're thinking about
So the
yesterday,
challenge,
it's not going to work.
and, and the challenge for a coach and the player, most important, the player is when you're on the range and you hit a 7-iron, 160 yards, beautiful contact, beautiful trajectory, right at your target. We're trying to freeze frame that image. And tomorrow, when you have your 7-iron, that's the same shot that you hit tomorrow. We're trying to freeze frame that. So when you're on the golf course, you've got to imagine, oh, the day before I hit my 7-iron, beautiful trajectory at the target, hit it solid. The only difference was you were on the range hitting balls, and today there's a sand trap, there's a pond, there's obstacles between you and the hole that weren't there yesterday in the range. But who cares? You still were able to hit that shot, carry the ball, 160, beautiful. You've got to attempt to eliminate those visual obstructions on the golf course. Plus, you've got day one, day two, day three. Pressure mounts as the tournament goes on, especially if you're doing well, that you didn't have on day one or in the practice round. So it's all these mental issues which happen during competitive golf, and you've got to be hopefully learning skills and training to overcome the adversity of playing in a golf tournament.
So let's kind of zoom out a little bit. As we know, we're in the summer season right now. I know this things get both crazier and less crazy at the same time. It's crazy for different reasons. What are some things that you're really excited for in these next 3 months? And then as that 3 months passes, as you get into next fall and then all the way into next spring, what are some things that you're really looking forward to? Some things that are up on the calendar already that you're excited about, and things that are happening, and what's coming up soon for you guys.
Well, actually, it's funny you mentioned it too. We have a Zoom call tonight for a Zoom call of the summer. It could be our only Zoom call of the summer too. Um, we've had our team for the last 10 years is pretty much an all international team. We're all around the world. So tonight we have 6 players on a Zoom call, 6 different time zones all over the world. And
Wow.
I just would like to, we've got 2 new players coming in next year. So just really tonight will be a night of introducing the new players to the team. I just want to remind everyone that summertime's a time to take some time off from all of your activities in life and enjoy the summer. Catch up with friends, catch up with family, get some traveling. But you do have to get some golf in. Make sure that you're getting some practice time in, some proper practice time in, making sure that you're playing enough tournaments in the summertime so you can keep your competitive edge. I'm big on physical conditioning, and I'm hoping that everyone can at least continue to work out 3 times a week, especially with super speed sticks. Super speed sticks is something that can really help you keep up your strength and your swing speed, distance, and all that. So I'm hoping that in the summertime, yes, I'll take time off for sure and enjoy the summer. get some traveling, as I say. But you've got to play some golf, play some tournament golf, keep up your physical conditioning, and be thinking about tournaments that we'll be playing next year, the goals that we have, the objectives we have. Our big goal is to win the conference to get to the NCAA regionals. That's really our prime goal. And small team of 6 players next year with 2 new players. So the challenge is always to try to help get the 2 new freshmen going as quick as possible. My home's in Pinehurst. I'm personally want to enjoy a little bit of downtime and get to play some golf myself. I do run camps in Pinehurst. I run my own Boston University girls golf clinic. I'll have players come in. It's girls only, 1 or 2 at a time, 2-day camps, and I help the players navigate the college admissions and college playing process. And I've had a lot of success over the years, one-on-one with new players coming in, and learning how do you do the college process? How do you find a school? How do you find a golf team I can get on? So that's what my summer is entailed. When we start back in the summertime in season, traveling is busy, very hectic for sure. Doing school and playing in the tournaments. A lot of fun though. I continue to enjoy it.
Yeah, that sounds nice. See that last part, hanging out at Pinehurst and living out there. That part, sign me up for that. If I might need to hit you up, and I might swing by on my way out there just because.
Always invited, Quinn. Always invited. Always invited.
Awesome,
Don't need any notice. One day
awesome.
notice is all I need.
That's all I needed to hear. Now I'm super stoked. Now I understand that I'll go ahead and get the cameras, head out and play, and it's something that I've always had in my mind. But Coach, I appreciate you taking the time today. I mean, all the things that you
Appreciate
talked
the time.
about. I love your coaching philosophy and just kind of how you approach the game, and what you're doing for turn these young ladies into women, and just the nature and building of all the things that you've already had and what we had a chance to talk about today. This isn't going to be our only time talking for sure, but I like to leave this last little part, so I just kind of basically stop talking and then I let you say whatever you want to say. There's no question. It's just kind of an open it's just an open spot for you. So go ahead.
I think just in conclusion, I appreciate the time today. A lot of fun doing this, and I like to look forward to doing this more in the future with you. A lot of fun here. I think sometimes I reflect on myself why I coach, and I mentioned to you initially, I'll help players become better players. Yeah, I can do that. I do that, but that's such a small piece of what I'm doing. I coach women's golf at the collegiate level. I mentioned to the women, golf 101 is as important as any course that you'll take at the university here. There's just something about golf and in business. There's a huge connection, networking connection. And so I find I find over the years my real mission in wanting to coach is to help the players, help the young women realize that if you're a young woman and you get a great education and you're a good player and you can play golf, you take those and put those together in business and networking, you'll kill them in management. You'll kill them. You'll kill them in business. Um, you'll be able to leverage golf. Golf will be the door opener. Golf will be the gateway to be involved in upper management decisions and positions in upper management. Golf's not going to give you the job, but it's going to open the door. It's amazing in business how golf, people that play golf, typically upper management, how it can help you and aid you. So golf 101 is a very important uh, a course that you're going to be taking at BU. And I think I like to get that message across to them. I do get many calls. I'm very close to many of the alums, and I get calls over the years. Coach, I got to tell you, I can't believe I'm doing what I'm doing, and I met so and so because of golf. He's a golfer. She's a golfer. Found out we played golf, and next thing you know, there was a opportunity in the company for me to move up with it. I've got that call happens a lot, and it's a lot of fun to hear. It's great fun. Golf's been a great golf's a wonderful activity for young men, young women, all through your lives. It's a fantastic opportunity. U.S. Open is coming up this week at Oakmont. Very difficult course, so it'll be a lot of fun to see what happens there. I appreciate the time. Thanks very much, Quinn.
Definitely, Coach Bruce. Well, everyone, that is Switch Up Sports for today. We're going to catch you in the next one.